Hi, hello, hi, and welcome to all our hearts and minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good and the bad, the concerning and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimmy, our passionate heart,
Yeah.
and then there's me, Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes. Please and thanks.
Okay, knock knock, the doctor is here. It's a checkup.
hmm
How was your week?
Well, my week was okay. It was pretty good. I can't complain. I wasn't in the office as much this week, but I did go in a couple times, and it's just the weather is starting to get colder and
Mm,
stuff like that. So it's like I don't really want to leave my house.
I
Like
know that
I
feeling.
want
Ooh.
to work from home if I can, but yeah, so all in all, it was a pretty good week. Thanks to God and his glory and his grace, made it through another one. How was your week? What's popping?
It was pretty good. I would say it was a good week. It's the end of the let's just say it, it's the end of the year. The year's done, as far as I'm
Yep.
concerned.
It's
Like,
over. It's a wrap.
let's keep it a buck. The year's done.
Yep.
And anybody, if you work in the corporate world, if some I mean, I know there's
Yep.
some industries vary, but Q4, that last quarter of the year is
It's
always
rough. It's a rough time.
I could say personally for me, every job I've had, Q4 has been a fucking nightmare. But I mean, so far it hasn't been. I haven't been in the depths of hell, but it's like kind of like I feel like it's creeping.
Yep. Yep.
It's
Yep.
trying to.
And then it's like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks before Christmas, it just stops. Like
It just
it's
stops.
finished.
But
It's
here's the
finished.
joke. Here's the joke. You know, and then like so, some people are trying to book things in or whatever. Your calendar. Sometimes some things pop up in your calendar, and I look at the date. I'm like December 8th.
Right?
December 8th.
We're already talking about December. Like, I feel
And
like November is a skip over month. Like, I don't
yeah,
even understand.
right? Because everybody knows November is gonna be hectic, but December 8th, like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna let the world know, like, by December 10th, like, Jeanette Anati has
Right?
mentally left the building.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
But anyway,
yes.
we do the best. We do the best, but you know, it's just that's just life. You have to make the situation work. But essentially, I've been in fairly decent spirits, fairly good spirits, and
Right.
just thank God every day. And I was telling you yesterday, I went to a little conference. It was a conference
Mm-hmm.
for Black people in tech, and let me give it a shout out because we gotta we have to big up these type of events because you big
Yes.
them up, the more that you get them, and it is a Toronto based organization. So I just wanted to big it up. I'm just pulling it up just so I
Yes,
get the
and
right
thank you for
name.
putting such things together. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you so much. Because sometimes in Toronto, you get lost in the sauce as a Black person, especially in the corporate world. So
yeah,
it's nice to like have something that's kind of dedicated to us. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. So
So
it was
yeah, thanks to
actually,
them.
yeah, it was hosted. So it's this organization called Obsidy. And
Mm.
Obsidy is a part of is actually like an academy and like a type of course, like if you want to get into like software engineering or uh, uh, data risk analysis and all these things. It's like a tech. So if you want to get into tech and coding and stuff like that, that's like you can look that up, right? So that's where they focus. And then there's Black people in tech, BPTN,
Mm-hmm.
and they partner to kind of create this network of Black professionals to kind of everybody get to know each other and find and share resources for Black talent in
Mm-hmm.
the tech world.
Oh.
And the event was called Be Future. I
Oh wow.
interpret it as meaning Black
La la
future.
la la la.
Okay, sorry about that. Had a little bit of a tech issue. We're back online.
Yes, Beyonce's internet is tripping out here today.
so,
Yes.
so,
Mm-hmm.
so essentially just cutting to the chase, The event was called Be Future 2023. The headline sponsor is TD Bank here, Canadian, one of the top Canadian financial institutions. They have a bunch of other sponsors, but they're the headline sponsor, and they were very present, I must say. Um,
Nice.
so everybody check it out. It's called the Be Future 20. They invited Ludacris was there. He was there at the after party. Really cool event.
Okay.
And
Luda.
Luda,
Hmm.
move
Right?
out the way, move out the way.
Right?
So yeah, so had a good time. It's always great to be surrounded by your peers and recognize a lot of beautiful black faces, and
Yep.
awesome event. All right, moving
Yep.
on. That we're in good
Yes.
spirits. We're living it up. God is good. So
Yes.
we're gonna move on to the headlines. And the first thing, we had to just get through this first thing. We have to talk about it.
Yes, please.
Um the
Because
ladies,
people are acting
there
legit.
is a anonymous group of women, and I don't know, I'm trying to think what age gap I'm trying to place. We're going to go through the list real quickly, but there is a group of women who put out a list of places that they should not go, that they would don't want to be taken to, they refuse to go to on a first date. I don't want to set this
Right.
up. I don't know if everybody remembers. There was a viral video of a woman on it
Yep.
on a
Saw it.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It was quite distasteful, to be honest.
Yeah,
It's
it
one of
really
those
was.
things where it's like, is this really real? Um,
And does she have to be black? Like,
of
really? But
course, yeah,
anyhow.
yeah, right.
Anyhow.
So
Anyhow.
there's a
That's
there's
a whole nother segment.
that's a whole nother
Yeah.
segment. There's a viral video of this woman who's going she's like anyway, long story short, the guy must have picked her up, had a planned a fancier, a nicer location, something that very fancy, and but it's one of those places you have a reservation, and if you're not on time, don't bother showing up. And so apparently
Right?
she was late in getting ready, so they could not, the reservation was gone for the place that he originally reserved for them to go on their date. But he's like, well, we're out, and so let's just go to like Applebee's. He wants to take her to Applebee's, and when he got to
Hmm.
Applebee's, she refused to come out of the car because she did not want to go to Applebee's for her date. And she,
And you know what? One thing I wanted to mention
mhm,
was that he actually got to her house well in time
mhm,
to
yeah,
make the
yeah, she
to make the
mhm.
reservation, but she wanted to be bougie and make him sit down and wait for a good hour.
Damn, I
So it
didn't know
was
she
her
had to wait for an
fault.
hour. Whew,
He was sitting in the car waiting for her ass for an hour.
damn,
Okay?
you're lucky he
So,
stayed
yeah,
there.
right? You're lucky he was still waiting in the car. That in itself shows you that he is a good man
Yes,
because
exactly.
he has patience.
Mhm.
First of all, the man wanted to come up to her house,
Mhm.
to her apartment, I guess, and she's like, "No." Which, okay,
That's
as a
fair.
woman,
That's
totally
fair.
understand.
Yep.
That's fair.
Mhm.
But then don't keep him sitting in his car waiting for an hour. Like, come on now, girl. And then because the reservation now has gone, come and passed, he's just trying to make the best of it. So the fact that she acted that way, but anyways,
Yeah, it
let's
was
get to the list.
pretty corny
Because
behavior.
these damn fools with this list.
Okay, so
Yeah.
on this list, I'm not gonna go through everyone because some of the restaurants, they're kind of relatable. Okay, so you can know the idea of the kind of restaurant they don't want to go. It's usually these big chains,
Right.
and the ones I want to just call out the ones where I'm like, come on now, like what is this now?
Right?
It makes me question who made this list. So, first one, of course, the first two is Cheesecake Factory and Applebee's. We knew Applebee's
I
was
don't know
gonna.
about you. Cheesecake Factory damn expensive at the end of the day, so I don't know about you. It's not Cheesecake Factory, but anyway.
and
Hmm.
and then the list has a bunch of other restaurants in that category. Okay, then the person has this list has the movies. What, the movies?
Right. Come on now.
Although
Stop it.
I mean, I would say the only thing against the movies is you can't really have a conversation. Like, it's like you just go to the movie, and you can't do too much long talking in the movie, right? So if you're trying to get to know somebody, I would agree that in that case, that okay, the movie is probably not the best place to learn, to know about, to talk to somebody and get to know them, right? That's fine. Another interesting one was your house. I agree. Don't take me to your house on the first date. That's insinuating.
That's called Netflix and chill.
Yeah, that's
And no,
yeah.
we're not doing that.
That's insinuating. That's very
Okay.
presumptuous.
Right? Who said I want to be in your house?
Okay,
Right.
there's one. Okay, the gym. I feel like the gym is a good one because you could talk and you're doing something, but
Yes, but
then
there's a
then you
lot of
but there's
distractions.
distraction and you probably don't look your best. Like you're sweating, you're grunting. It might not be very attractive. So I get that
That is true.
from a woman's point of view. Yeah, not ideal.
But there's so many things to do at the gym. You don't have to go push weights. Like
Mm.
you could take a walk around the track. You know
Mm.
what I mean?
True. That's
And still have
ideal.
a
Yeah,
conversation.
that's
You know what
ideal.
I'm saying? But we're not going into the whirlpool. We're not doing the whirlpool.
Hey, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Here's one. Here's a ones where I think that they are tripping when they made this list. Starbucks, coffee dates, ice cream
Stop
dates.
it.
Stop.
Stop it.
Bowling, hookah bar,
Come on, man.
sports events. I mean, I think those are perfect first dates if you ask me. That's like
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
it's like non-committal, you could still have a conversation, no, nothing too deep or involved. You could kind of feel it out and just keep it moving. Those are but the ones where I kind of agree were the ones I mentioned to you, the movies, the gym, church. Because I don't know about you, I
Right?
don't know about your church, but people will fuss up. You come up with a, if I like me, if I go to a church, they might go to my parents' church with a man on my arm. Oh, Lord, that's
Oh
your husband.
God.
That's a, like
Here we go.
this is like pretty
You're
much your
about to
husband.
get married.
You're about to get that needs to be
Okay.
your husband. Like
Shoot.
the
You're
grilling,
checking out
and I
venues.
don't want to
Like
be,
stop.
and vice versa. I don't want to be invited to your church, and everybody's like, "Oh, so no, that's like putting too much pressure on
How
me."
about we just keep the church to praising the Lord? How about we just
Yeah,
praise the Lord in
until
the
you're like
church?
official, until it's official, I'm good. And nightclubs, I agree. In nightclubs, it's like in the movies. You can't really have a conversation at a
No, you
nightclub.
can't. When I heard this list, right?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, if one thing I wanted to make note, don't ask for what you're not willing to give.
Yes, that's
Don't
true.
ask for what you're not
That's what
willing to give. So,
Charlemagne has been saying.
right? Like, come on, friend. If you are going to have this man waiting for an hour,
Ooh.
then you cannot possibly expect to be going to a reservation type
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah.
You're get in where you fit in kind of thing. Second of all, what's the focus? What's the focus? Because if you're dating somebody, right, the date should be the focus. Like you getting to know them and them getting to know you. And that's why I think like a first date, especially a first date of meeting you, a coffee is a great place. Starbucks, yeah, hook me up. Or maybe you can get creative and find a good cafe that we
Yeah.
can sit
What
around and,
whichever. Yeah.
or maybe we can go to a jazz bar or
Mm.
somewhere that's it's still fun.
School them,
However,
Kimmy. School them.
like come on, like get creative.
Yeah.
Because all I heard on this list was the typical. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
And
And this.
I think that sometimes you have to step outside of the box, and it's not so much where they're taking you, it's that who is taking you.
Yeah.
Like who is
Right.
that person,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like that's the whole point why you're doing it, not to get a free meal. So like stop this. Second, my mama always taught me, always have you get vex money, always have you get next money, because guess what, if you want to go somewhere and this man takes you there and maybe he's not able to afford it, or maybe he's just a jerk
Mhm.
and he's trying to pass off the bill on you, maybe he is making reservations at a restaurant that he knows damn well he can't afford and is expecting you to pay, so you better have that money in your pocket, so you better be able to afford that said restaurant that you're expecting him to take you to. And the thing with women is that we tend not to have that money. So we tend to have the Applebee's money in the pocket. You understand? In the purse. We have the Applebee's and Cheesecake Factory money in the pocket. Yet we want him to spend half of his rent or half of his mortgage to take us to a restaurant. Like miss me with it. Sometimes, and this has happened to me before, you might get played. You might get played. You might get stuck with that bill. So I think we should focus less on where you're going and more on who you're going with. That's the real point of the date,
Yeah.
not just for you to get a free meal.
Well,
You
that's how
know,
we get that. That's how we get that woman who gobbled down those all those oysters and was left with the bill. I don't know if you saw that
and
video.
she was left with the bill.
Yeah.
See? Did she have those oysters money when she was sucking them down? No, she did not. She
but
didn't
the,
have the
but
oysters
that's an
money, did
example
she?
of like the person.
Okay.
That's an example of the person did not go on the date with pure intentions. Like she wasn't interested. Like based on the setup, I understand. Like you're just going on the date to get a meal, and honestly, that's kind of what this list is telling me. You're not looking for a real connection.
You're
You
not. You can't
you are
possibly.
just trying to floss. Like we've all, I don't know, I think we women, I think a lot of people, and maybe even men do this. It's like sometimes you just go on a date to go on a date to see one on a date. You're not even like 100% like
I'm bored.
um,
How about that?
you said exactly. It's you're going
I'm
on a
bored.
date because you're bored. You want to go out on the town, and you're just like, fine, I'll let this guy take me out. And
Right?
but the thing is, like, this is what happens, and then so you're trying to do a transactional thing, and so guys on the
It's
other
all
hand,
about transactions as of late.
and guys and
It's all
guys
about
guys know
transactions.
this, so that's why they're like, on the first one, I'm not gonna break the bank, especially if you're not balling like that, without knowing,
Yeah,
feeling it
but
out.
but a really good man is going to test you.
Hmm.
A really good man is going to test you. On your first date, you might not even see the inside of a restaurant.
Mm.
You might be going for a walk.
And I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. You know what I say is that I mean, I haven't dated in a very long time, but when I did date, what I was thinking in my head was, who is this guy? Like, I in order for you to get past a lot of red tape to even be able to take me out on a date, you have to show me that some interest. Like, I have to be interested, right?
Hmm.
So once you get my interest, that's when I'm going to see, okay, well, is he going to take me to the typical, or is he going to step outside of the box? Is he going to think of something other than what we would regularly do? And to be quite honest, whatever that is, I'm down because you sparked my interest, right? Like, obviously, we're not going for no long drives, and I think that was on that list too.
Yes.
We ain't going for no long drives, bro.
No,
Okay, unless I'm
that's
behind the wheel.
serial killer
Unless
vibes.
I'm driving, we ain't going for no long drives. First, second, being in an open space where there's lots of people is a good thing. You feel more
Yeah.
comfortable, you feel more at ease with each other, especially if it's a first date. I think there's a lot like people are expecting from other people, and I think the expectations need to take it down a notch. You need to take it down a notch. If you can't take him to that restaurant, don't expect to go, because
Oh,
you might just get left in the restaurant like the oyster girl. But anyway, we're gonna move
we're
on
gonna
from the
move
people
on.
in their stripper list,
Yeah.
because this is obviously children. These are children.
Yeah, it's like
They're
it's
young kids. They
this
have
is
to be.
this is like a clickbaity list. It's like you knew people were gonna go, oh, look at this and be completely and find it completely ridiculous.
It
Okay.
is ridiculous.
Next,
Yeah.
we're going to go to Dusty Face again, Blueface. So
Dirty face boy, I can't turn him.
so
Can't
Blueface,
stand talk about him.
yeah.
Anyways, go on.
Normally,
Stupid dirty face
after our
boy.
last update, after our last, I don't know, whichever episode it was a few weeks ago, we were talking about him. We were like, we're not gonna talk about them again. But he did
Yeah.
something that hey, the only reason we're talking about him here is he came out of left field with this one, as far as I'm
Right?
concerned. And
Right?
he recently, essentially, Blueface proposed to his first baby mother, and I guess his now fiance, Jaidyn Alexis, which is a Mexican woman that he has two children with. And it's interesting because now I saw the video of the actual proposal, and he did a video,
Yeah, it was stupid. Hmm.
just before saying, of course, on Instagram, uh on Instagram live, saying, announcing that he was about to propose to her. So that,
That he was
and he
nervous.
was
Of
nervous, and
course.
that it was giving performance. It was giving BET Movie Award performance.
Oh my gosh.
And so he proposed to her, and okay, that's different. I mean, I think everything he's doing right now is scrambling to stay is trying to scramble to stay relevant. And second,
Yeah, because his cash cow is gone.
oh, and
His
yeah,
cash cow is gone.
yeah,
She's moved on.
yeah. Well,
So
hopefully, I don't
yeah.
know if she's moved on, but at the very least, she's like not near enough to him to for them to be together. So, but that's a goal for that I want for Krishan, is for her to be completely cut this cancer out of his life, which is him. And she's far from perfect, but at least if you get rid of like a chunk of toxicity, you can look at yourself and see what you need to work on with yourself, especially for your child, to kind of get it right. Like, you're young, but honestly, you need to get yourself together because you have a child, and no excuses now, right? And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it was kind
Mhm.
of, I don't know. I'm like, I think he's just doing this for clicks and attention, not
You're
to.
damn right. The man needs his paper to keep rolling.
And
Okay, because the last time I heard a song from him was Tatiana, and I can't hear no more music from him. So yeah, this is his new bread and butter. This is
yes,
his new
this
bread and
girl, yeah,
butter.
Jade.
The clout.
Yeah, so
The
the
clout.
marriage, and then I
Hmm.
think he got her signed to a label, and so I think there's like a whole package coming together. What we're gonna see seems very orchestrated. Whatever, people are gonna do what you gotta do. You gotta survive, but it's like, ugh,
Yeah.
it's just it seems very
Well, I want to
distasteful.
talk less. I want to talk less of Dirty Face Boy,
Mhm.
and more of Jaden Alexis. Are you serious? You were on Hollywood Unlocked with Jason Lee,
Mm.
and you had this man sit beside you. Okay, this is all within the same month.
Yeah,
Okay,
the same week,
sit
if not.
beside you, right? I think so,
Yeah,
actually, and say that he had I guess a sexual encounter with Meg Thee Stallion.
yeah.
You were surprised. You were floored. You were floored, and you could tell you were floored. You tried to keep your poker face on, but really, you're not good at it, Stewie. Okay, you're not good
Oh
at it.
no, not
I'm a
Stewie.
caller, Stewie. Yes, she very much resembles Stewie. Okay,
Yeah.
and in that moment, she did something that's so iconic of what Stewie would do. Is she's looking at her watch as though time has passed. Like, miss me with it, girlfriend. You got embarrassed yet again. Like, you are taking proposals seriously from this man. You want to get married to the man that constantly leaves you under his shoe.
Mm.
Are you serious? Like, get it together, girl.
Yeah.
I need you to get it together because your children, you have a girl child. She's watching you. They're both watching you. Okay. And between the two of you, these children are going to have a real messed up idea of what love looks like and what relationships look like. And if you do actually get married, which I don't think it will actually
Mm.
happen, and if it does happen, it will be televised. Sure will.
That's for sure.
Okay. That's for sure. Okay. There will be a whole show formed around this Jaden Alexis. Here, Jaden, she's not entertaining.
No, she's
Period.
boring as fuck. Sorry.
Okay. Even I don't want to insult Stewie because Stewie is very entertaining. He
Yeah,
he was a
Stewie.
jokester.
Yo,
Yes, I love me some
Stewie
Stewie.
was
Yeah.
the show.
He is the show, okay? Like, honestly. And he's iconic, to be honest.
Yeah.
And she's not. She's nowhere. She has no pizzazz, she has no charisma, she has no nada. Okay? And this is why uh, you know, um Krishan was able to thrive because she does.
She's
She has
excitement.
all of what
Mm.
she has all of what Jaden Alexis does not.
True.
And if you think by any chance that Dirty Face Boy is a prize, girl, come again. Come again with it because Krishan is going to show you what the prize is.
I
Okay?
hope
The
so.
prize, well, she's showing you right now. She has more clout, more fame than, like, I heard that she did a meet and greet
Yes.
the other day. I think I'm not too sure where it
Yeah, I
was. I
saw
think it was
some
in Atlanta.
photos. I saw some photos. Yeah.
And yeah, so but the line was around the block.
No, you
The
know what?
line was
You know,
around the
you
block.
know what she has? She has a thing that Cardi B has. She has a thing that like Shakiri Richardson. The people just want to see them win. People love her. They want to see her win. She's far from perfect, but there's something in her spirit, her vulnerability, a lot of
Very much
things.
so.
People love her despite her faults, right? And so I think I see her, she has a potential to be very successful if she would just uncloud her mind with alcohol and social media. Like, she
Exactly.
needs to
And
focus.
and I think that Krishan is very intelligent despite when this girl talks she can't string together a sentence. You understand? But I think that I think she is intelligent. It's just I think she thinks that this is the way to go and it's paying her bills. It's getting her by. It's she was on the street homeless at one point in her life. So this is heaven. So she's trying to keep it up and keep it going. And Krishan, I do want you to win. But girl, come off. on the social media just for a week. Go sit down with your baby. Like honestly,
Mm.
the baby just came out of surgery and you have the baby at a meet and greet with
Yeah,
all these strange ass
again,
people.
that was
But I'm not even
strange.
gonna go there
No.
because it's about Dutty Face and Jaidyn
Yeah.
Alexis. So if you want to get married to this woman, I really hope that you don't. Because a woman can only be pushed so far. And R. Kelly said it best, even though I don't like this mother.
When a
I don't
woman's
like him.
fed up.
When a woman's fed up, because you got to be careful, okay? Right now, she hasn't hit her boiling point. But now you're pulling in stars that she can't even compete with. See, Jane and Alexis thought that she and Krishan could compete because they're both ratchet. You understand? However, when you up the ante to someone like Meg the Stallion, and I'm not a Stallion fan, but she's in a whole different
Yes,
category than
come on
Blueface
now.
and this
Come
nonsense.
on now.
So Jaden Alexis can't compete. So you keep pushing and you might be afraid of the results. So Dirty Face Boy, can you stop this? The shenanigans and all that. This was definitely to poke at Krishan. Krishan, please keep it pushing, girl.
Hmm.
Keep it pushing. You don't see how much he misses you. You don't see how much he wants to be with you. And I think he truly does because he can actually win. He can win a lot, but he can't leave Jane and Alexis behind. And she's not going to allow him to either. She's willing to put up with this nonsense. So hopefully you don't create a whole marriage putting up with this nonsense. Just the just I can't deal
Yeah,
with it.
you can't. We just can't. We have to keep it on. We have to move on from the ratchets.
I just
We're
can't.
going to move on from the ratchets
Ratchet ass people.
and talk about Mr. Jonathan Majors. So there was an update this
Yup.
week with his case.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It's like this guy, he can't catch a break. He can't catch a break.
Nope.
Drama, drama, drama.
Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
earlier, so first, I think we talked about this in our last update where they were talking about there was like a rumor that they were going to bring charges against his ex-girlfriend, the person who accused him of, domestic violence and all the things, whatever occurred in that car that crazy night, right? And so there was like a detailed account of what happened, and da da da. It's like, oh shit, if this happened, then this he should, then why isn't this like in the submitted, right? So it's like they had
Right?
an account from the police, but it wasn't actually submitted in the case. So, and as you mentioned to me, that as long if it's not submitted as a court document as actual evidence, then what's the point of bringing
Yep.
this up, right? That's just really maybe potentially trying to help his public image, which went to the took a big hit.
Right.
And but now I found that even though they did finally take it, they took it to the police and put it to the court as evidence. And she was briefly under arrest in New York on Wednesday and charged with misdemeanor assault and criminal mischief.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so basically, she has a battery claim against him, or at least maybe she tried to retract it, but once it's domestic violence, he was charged automatically, right? And
Yep.
now she has something against her. However, I think I read somewhere that the prosecutors dropped all the charges. So she was charged and arrested. However, the following day, prosecutors dropped the charges because I think they said they didn't have. They declined to prosecute the case against Grace Jabari because it lacks prosecutorial merit. The matter is now closed and sealed. Damn. What do you think of that? I mean, something popped in my head when I just read that sentence, but damn, Jonathan.
Uh this is gonna get real nasty.
Mm,
It's gonna get real dirty.
and
And I hope he's prepared.
yeah, and so
I hope he has money and I hope he has really good lawyers because when you do something like this, she's gonna come at you hard.
no, I don't think it's
And
her. It's not really even. Okay, so the thing is, I'm sure now that he tried to counter and get her, she was arrested, and then
yeah, she's gonna come
but
at you hard. Yeah.
right. So now before she was not cooperating, maybe she might cooperate. We don't know. She doesn't seem to be a mentally stable person either.
No, she's not. That's what I'm saying. She's gonna come at you hard for it, just the simple fact that you tried.
Yeah, but
Just the
he,
simple fact
well, I
that you
mean, he
tried.
has, and
Hmm.
of course he has to. Like, he doesn't. He had to throw whatever he had in his back pocket. He had to pull it out because he's already at a.
Now, you and I were thinking logically, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, like, I'm just gonna call a spade right now. I'm sorry if people want to come for me. This is a black man and a white woman.
Straight up. That's. I
Okay?
mean, that's what I
I
didn't.
have to call it straight real right now. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this because it's very important, that dynamic. This is a Becky. Okay, everybody? Okay, and this is a Nigel, okay? Or a Jonathan, but a Nigel or Kareem. Okay?
Mhm.
This is a black man. Okay? That's what my point is. And um white women don't take kindly to when black men want to challenge them. They don't. And so this is a challenge. In her mind, he was supposed to take this down, like take it lying down, like just like no, you're not. You're supposed to just allow me to charge you. Now he's coming with a vengeance. He's coming and he's charging her as well. It's not going to go over well. It just won't. It's just not going to go over well. I'm telling you that right now. It's just not going to go over well. I have high hopes for Jonathan.
Mhm.
I do. I hope.
It's not looking good though, because
It's not looking good, and
I.
she's gonna pull out everything from everywhere. And this is a Becky, and everybody, as long as Becky starts crying, everybody is gonna is I told you, those tears. Once she starts crying, everybody's gonna come to her aid. Yeah, they're gonna dig up everything from his past. This is not gonna. I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to be so negative and skeptical about this, but I've seen it happen before in my lifetime where a black man okay, even though OJ got off, right? Look what they put his ass through. Look what they did to his ass. Now,
I mean,
Jonathan, you're not in that same caliber
no,
yet.
yeah, no.
However, you still see the dynamics of a black man and a white woman. So I'm praying for him. I really am. But what I'm more concerned with is Megan. Or what's her name now? Is it
Megan
Meg?
Good.
Megan Good. Girl, I heard he supposedly proposed.
Well, I don't know. I haven't. I don't recall seeing that, but
I hope to God
that
it's a lie.
I hope it's a lie.
Megan, run, run, girl, run, hit the hills. Stop the publicity stunt and hit the hills for real. You don't wanna be
Yeah,
a part of this.
and that relationship is giving, like, even though, like, outside, if these circumstances weren't happening, I'd be like, you know what, I really like that idea of them being together. But
I
it's
know.
very much a publicity stunt. It's kind of like who we were talking about was a publicity stunt. What another relationship that's a publicity stunt? Was it what's her name, the girl, oh, what's his name, he was in Creed 3 too, Jonathan,
Oh,
Michael B.
Lori
Jordan.
Harvey.
Yeah, Lori Harvey
Lori
and
Harvey,
Michael.
yeah.
Very much publicity stunt, and I feel like Megan Good played a Lori Harvey role in, in this situation. But we'll see. So before I move on, I was just gonna say why I mentioned it's not looking good is he has we already knew that he was dropped by his management and PR teams. He had a big US Army recruitment ad campaign that has been removed. He has a bunch of big movies that he was on. These are like Oscar worthy movies, including Otis Redding's biopic and an adaptation of Walter Mosley's The Man in the Basement. Those would be Oscar worthy movies. And Friday,
Mm.
as of today, Disney removed his he had a movie called Magazine Dreams about bodybuilding, and Disney removed it from their release list for December. I was like, ooh, ooh. So hopefully, I think they're waiting, like the
Yeah,
case needs to.
I hope he stacks some coin.
Yeah, I
I
hope
hope he
he's
stacks some coin.
vindicated. Like, I mean, he did the roles, so he got paid at least for the roles. But they're like, it's bad that all this um
It might
negativity,
not be
he
seen.
might
It
not,
might
yeah,
not be seen.
may not be seen, and maybe, and then future work
Oy.
is threatened. So I'm hoping that he comes out on top. I don't know, I mean, again, at the end of the day, the evidence doesn't look good either way. But I think if this was a mutual thing where a couple's both fighting each other, then I don't think you should be charged regardless. Like, but I don't know, we'll see. All right, we'll move on from this drama and go on
Yes.
to another quickly. It's just because it's fun. It's not. It's sad that it happened, but it's also like the drama. Like this actress,
Right?
our girl Lupita. Uh, she was dating this guy. It's a South African. Uh, well, he's of South African descent. I think his father was a musician. But anyway,
Mm.
Salima Masakela, and she was in a relationship, and she revealed. I was like, damn, she actually put him on the gram. That's how you know it's serious. Like I've seen her hugged up
Yes,
with so
especially for
much.
her.
Yeah, I've seen her
Mhm.
hugged up with so much people. You never know who she's really, really dating. And so this was supposed to be her man. And then a week before, there was photos of her at a concert. I can't remember. I don't know if it's Taylor Swift or who. Some concert with her and Joshua Jackson, who also just is recently got filed divorce papers from his wife, another chocolate sister, Jodie Turner Smith, beautiful English girl, Jamaican descent, and he recently was divorced, and so he was here laughing it up, gritting up his teeth with Lupita at a concert. So
Yes.
everybody's like, what? And then
Mhm.
so I'm assuming that's what prompted her to make this post, because I'm like, there's no reason. Really, people break up all the time. And you guys
Yeah.
were maybe dating max. I don't know how long she's dating, but it couldn't be that long. It couldn't be more than like a couple years at max, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And so
I'd say maybe 3. I think so.
yeah,
Mhm.
like I feel like, well, I don't know, because I feel like she just posted him within the last year. So I'm going to assume even if she was private for the first year, because you to protect,
Right.
then
Mhm.
I'm thinking it
That's
can't
true.
be more than 2 years. That's what I'm thinking, right? So I'm not going to read
Mhm.
the whole post because it's like ridiculously long, but I'm just gonna. So she says, she starts it with saying that there are and I think again addressing the rumors of her and Joshua Jackson, there are much more important things going on in the world right now, and saying that her thoughts were with those deeply suffering, obviously referring to the war in the Middle East. She said that
Yep.
she needed to, she says, I need to publicly disassociate myself from someone she can no longer trust. I can no longer trust. I find myself in a
Mm-mm.
I find myself in a season of heartbreak because of a love suddenly and devastatingly extinguished by deception. I'm not gonna go further than that. It's long and but that's the tone of it. It's like literally like, is this like Toni Morrison? Like, why are we getting so poetic? Like, girl, you do not owe anybody an explanation.
What
Well,
an
actually,
understanding.
it, and I hope she did not feel pressured, because there's a photo of her and Joshua Jackson, because otherwise, why the hell would you post this law? And it seems very, it's like if you read it, you're gonna be like, damn, this hurts. Like I feel like my heart was broken. Like the way she wrote it is
Mm-mm.
very beautifully written. People, if you want to
Mhm.
just get in your feelings, you can go on her page and read it. But I was like, just because, like, I mean, breakups are important, and they're painful, but
They are,
I
but
feel
it
like,
teaches you a lot about
and
yourself,
it
you know,
does.
and
But if this person deceived you, as she has described, deception can mean a lot of things. So I'm not even going to try and guess what
yeah,
happened.
don't go down that
And I'm not,
rabbit hole.
yeah, right.
Mm-mm.
But I think that I feel like it's like you're showing, and maybe it's empowering, but it's like you're showing the power that they have over you. That's just me personally. Me wouldn't do this, but hey,
No, but sometimes in order for her to like bounce back from this, you
maybe.
have to like almost cleanse yourself
Okay,
of
that's what
it,
it felt. It
right?
did feel like a cleansing.
So from what you're reading in itself, I didn't read all of what she
No,
had to say in
mhm.
her post because I was like, this is not like I'm not.
No, it's a lot. No, come on.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is too much right here. But Mother Goose glasses I need to take out. But anywho, I feel like she needed to cleanse herself. And when I say cleanse herself, she needed to be rid of all those feelings that were running through her. And I find that once you do that, it's easier for you to move on because you've come to realization, you've let it out, you've spoke it out. Maybe this is not the right place to do it, but you spoke it out and you can move forward from it, right? And one day at a time. Um Betrayal is nothing nice. It's never easy. And sometimes, you have to let it out. You have to let it out. So that's what I'm going to look at this as. She's obviously really hurt.
Mhm.
and she wanted it to be known. And maybe she actually wants to put these people on blast and
Okay.
put them in the hot seat
Okay.
and make them believe, yo, I'll drop a name when I'm ready. So just watch yourself. Just watch yourself.
Okay, it's a
Just
threat.
let me stay over here and get myself together, get myself right, but don't ever think that I won't drop a name and make you look really, horrible in this light. But overall, I'm hoping that it is a cleanse for her and that she can move on from this. And girl, you are too damn beautiful and successful and just so smart. Jesus.
Because
You're just too brilliant. You will find another,
yeah, okay. So
you know.
prayers up. You'll be Lupita. You're good, my girl. You're good.
You'll be good. Just you have to cleanse yourself, get over it, move on. You will move on. You will find another. You will be able to love and trust again. You're too beautiful and brilliant not to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So, whoever hurt her though, I would be trembling in my seat if I were you.
Yo,
Just right?
she's already booed up and laughing up with the next man.
See?
So,
Okay. No, that's the rebound guy. He doesn't count.
oh shoot, yeah, it is a
He doesn't
rebound.
count. He's the
It
rebound.
literally is a rebound because his ass literally just got served divorce papers a month
See?
ago.
I'm trying to have some fun. Forget about the people. The
Yeah,
people.
fair enough.
Hmm.
Quick thing. So Beyonce has a new fragrance coming out. I was like, I'm debating. I'm like, am I gonna pre-order? I need to check out the price of this. Thinking about it, I don't know. Just
Yes,
to
Miss
support.
Beyonce.
And the really biggest thing is, I know you weren't able to go to the concert, but you'll be able to
No, I
experience
wish I
it.
did.
You'll be able to
Mhm.
experience it. It's coming to theaters December 1st, Renaissance tour.
Yes, yes. I'll be able to see what was popping
Yeah.
and all this silver glory.
Yep.
Yes. Hmm.
So
I'm excited to
I'm
see that.
excited. I mean, obviously I was at the concert. I seen lots of footage, but I know that even from her last, was it Baychella, the thing she did on Netflix when she did Coachella was like amazing. It was a really good watch. So I'm sure it's going to be another success. So looking forward to that. Okay, and our final
Hmm.
headline. Noriega, I know your head's not good.
No, it's not
I
good.
know your head's not good and
Mm-mm.
you're a little bit slow, but Noriega, come on now. Don't come and be a bitch on online.
Right?
So I hate to say it.
Stop.
He's actually quite likable, but I didn't like how he came online and he just pretty much tried to put down Caresha. And I mean, you can feel, hey, everybody has your way of expressing themselves, so I'm not telling you not to, but you kind of look like you look salty, as as some people say. You
Hmm.
look like a sore loser. It's like, you, if you know you have a great show, why bother with this, right? And so essentially he came on the next day after the awards and said, so nobody gonna say nobody about, so nobody, his grammar is not that great. So nobody's gonna say nothing.
Not at all. Jesus.
Nobody's gonna say, the tweet was, nobody's gonna say nothing about the podcast media award. Okay, me neither. Well, clearly you're saying something. And he said, I love Carisha, but um without addressing the City Girls rapper, I caught the episode of tweeting. Oh, he said, I love Carisha, but bitch, take your hating ass home. Ain't no. Okay, this English, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. Essentially, he was complaining that Carisha won the media award, which is essentially like, the hip hop platform award, right?
Yeah.
So they, like we were talking about, they had Breakfast Club, they had Drink Champs, obviously Carisha's show, they had $1 million worth of game. There's Joe Budden, and there's a couple of other smaller ones that I can't remember at the top of my head, but the big ones were all definitely there that you would expect to be there. And personally, when I found out, from my point of view, when I found out that it was voted for, like it wasn't like some secret panel that were just, it was, they essentially they said it was voted for by the fans and she won. I was like, well, There's nothing to say. Obviously, the obvious rumor that Charlemagne hinted at, well, even when the City Girls were at the Breakfast Club this week, is they felt like Diddy obviously put his hand in her. Not he She tied with Drink Champs last year, and she won alone this year. Um, but essentially, my thing is, do you think that Noriega, regardless of how she got it, she got it? It's like the reaction from Noriega, and even I would say Charlemagne, that I was a little bit like, really?
Well, I think there's this wave of old heads
Oh,
who are getting upset with these new kids taking, well, basically they're not getting it out the mud like how half of these older heads have had to. I've heard it from a variety of people. I think we just talked about one the other day in our other episode there, where there's this sense of, well, you didn't have to get it out the mud, you didn't have to work hard, you didn't have to build a name for yourself. It's just, it feels like it's been handed to you.
hmm
I think it was Joe Budden the other day, and how he was, or not so much Joe Budden, but anyway, with Drake
hmm
the other day. But
yeah,
what I was saying with Noriega, I've heard it many times. I've heard it from Method Man, I've heard it from Redman, I've heard it from the old heads on even little Wayne,
mm,
which can be considered a newer rapper and of this time.
hmm
Um, and I understand, I get it, but you have to understand something, okay, Noriega? You are not sexing Diddy, okay? You are not having sex with the Diddy, okay? Because Caresha got that show because she's sexing Diddy, okay? And then she took over and it just, she started talking about, showers, rain showers, and pissing on people and all sorts of stuff, talking about sexual preferences. She's taken it to a different level,
yeah,
a different atmosphere. And unfortunately, people like ratchetness. And so they've gone with Caresha. And I understand you've kind of had to, build a name for yourself, and then now you're on this podcast, and you've had to kind of push barriers on your podcast, with the drinking and the smoking and all that.
yeah.
And I get it, right? I get it, but you have to understand that Diddy's pull, look, look, we can see,
Hey,
look,
hey. Well, here's what
but
I'll say. Here's
yeah,
what I
go
will
on.
say. Like, I obviously understand the criticism, and I'm on Charlemagne's point of view, and I do agree with Charlemagne, is that if she dropped more regular, not even weekly, even if she did monthly, like say she did a
Right,
monthly, so if she did monthly, that means she'd have 12 episodes a year. I would say, yeah, give it to her, because every one she's done, I've enjoyed. Every
right,
interview she's done, I've enjoyed it. It's like deep, it's funny, it's like you talk about life. It's like it actually has a lot of good substance in it. So, but
right.
you can't, like, she had like 5 episodes.
Well, I mean, that's why he's saying what he's
Yeah.
saying.
So
He's saying that way. He's saying it because it's like, look what I got to do
yeah,
in
I
order to
feel him.
even be in the same category as
Hmm
you,
hmm
right? And I've heard a lot of older heads start saying, like, have in recent years, have started to vocalize how it's not, they don't feel like it's fair.
hmm
And I get that, but this is a different generation. That's how our parents probably felt when, Biggie Smalls was out there, or that he didn't have to do this or that or the third, or, you know, generations past are going to look at it like, okay, well, you don't have to try as hard, you don't have to do as much, right? But we're living in a different era, so I think, Noriega, hush up, go sit down someplace. Focus on making your show better.
Yeah.
That's what you should do.
You know
if
what?
you
And
if
your
you really
works.
want to show someone you win,
Yeah.
make it better,
And
make it better than
your
this,
work speaks
right?
for itself. Like, people know, right?
Well,
So,
that's it.
um,
That's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna move on. Those are our headlines, and hey, the people are
Yes.
peopling. The drama is dramaing.
Yes. Yes,
So we
they
were gonna
are.
do a quick segment on. We haven't done this in a while. We want to do it a little bit more when in our episodes, but we're gonna talk about what we are watching. So
Yes.
either Kim or I or both of us talk about a show or movie that we've watched and share it with our listeners on what it's about and why we like it. Um,
Right?
so you had Kim doesn't watch a lot of TV. I watch a shit ton of TV, but
No.
Kim doesn't watch a lot of TV. So she
No.
has one now.
Right? And when I do get a chance, I try to, get hooked onto something that's substantial. And
Yeah.
so there's this new show here in Toronto. It's actually directed by Little X,
Hmm.
and we've all seen his work.
Yeah, his videos.
Mario. He's done work with so many
Yeah,
people.
Missy. Who's that?
Drake,
Yeah, Usher.
Missy, like big names, right? And so he has now produced this TV show. It comes on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. I think it's about a half an hour. Yep. And so why I like this show is it's called Robin Hood. Okay, and it's exactly what you would think, the wise tale about Robin Hood taking from the rich and giving to the poor. However, it's more of a modern take, a Canadian modern take on the Robin Hood story. And so it starts out with, first of all, what I also like is that the main character is a black woman, and she starts this group of people. They're like vigilantes, and they are literally robbing from the rich and giving to the poor. And that particular area of Toronto is for how do I say this, I guess lower income homes and families. Okay, and so in the hood, in the ghetto.
Mm.
Okay, and so there's a lot of poor people, and you see it go from a situation where her mother was actually the lead character. Her name is Robin, Robin Hood. Anyhow, but Robin, her mom gets hit by a car by a very wealthy businessman, and he kind of wants to disregard her, and her whole life and her mother's life takes a total change. And it seems like this particular businessman has his eye on their neck of the woods, and he wants to come in and basically just what would you say, gentrify. He wants to, gentrification
Mm.
up in here, and he wants to take their homes, destroy it. And so he ends up, they end up forming this group. It's four of them in total, and they end up robbing him. And they not only just rob him, but they put it on social media. They have a song, like a catch song, about their group. And so everybody within their community has now learned of this group, and are, you know reaping the benefits of what this group is doing. And so they try to take, like big pin people in the neighborhood that are trying to destroy it, and take from them and give to the poor people by buying medication, helping the main character's mother, for instance. After she had the car accident, her life changed. She right now she's still in a wheelchair, right? And so she went from a healthy bodied woman, you know um working and all of that, to losing her job, now living in a wheelchair. And so her daughter Robin has to see all of this. And so this is where we get Robin Hood the group. And it's bomb, people. Like, honestly, Little X, I already knew you had skills, but to see you create this show in the way that you have, you almost forget that it's Robin Hood, the actual story tale, or story tale that they have for little kids about, uh and so check it out. It comes on Wednesdays at 10. My husband would know the channel. We watch it together now.
Hmm.
He's usually the one. He's like, it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. Is the kid? Is the kid sleeping? It's 10 o'clock.
I love it.
So yeah, but watch it, look it up. You'll enjoy it. It's a modern day version of Robin Hood in the hood. And this black woman who also is she's how do you say that? She's into archery, which is one of the trademarks of Robin Hood, that he has a bow and arrow, and she has a bow and arrow, and she knows how to do it. She knows how to deal with it. So it's really interesting show.
Hmm.
I can't wait for it to come on every week. It only comes on once a week. So check it out, people. Check it out. Check it out. Support
Okay.
our Canadian producers our Canadian shows. It's nice to see, your home where you're from on TV. So check it out, y'all. Check it out.
Okay, so okay, you're enjoying Robin Hood. I
I
was
am.
I was going to talk about an Apple Plus or Apple TV show that it actually finished. The last season is actually a few weeks ago, but I had meant to talk about it on this show, and it's called The Changeling, and it stars Lakeith Stanfield, fine ass Lakeith Stanfield, fine ass but kind of weird,
Yes.
fine ass Lakeith Stanfield, and
Yes.
a new girl that I didn't and his counterpart is called her name is Clark Bacco, and wow, all I gotta say is wow, wow, wow. Um, I
Wow.
will say the season finale left me quite disappointed, but I kind of get it. It's like the whole show is pretty much a thriller, a little bit of I guess horror and fantasy in it mixed. There's a mixture of a lot of things, but I would definitely call it a dark fantasy with a lot of drama and mystery. And it actually is based on an actual book by an author named Victor Lavelle. And I actually am going to look up Victor. I looked up some of his books and I was like, um, I need to read this guy because
Right?
even Oprah gave him a cosign because the story is
Oh,
so interesting.
oh, Oprah's on that? Oh,
No, no, no.
shoot.
Oprah's not on
Okay.
this, but
No, but she co-signing?
she no,
Okay,
she
Miss
co-signed
Oprah.
the author of the book. The author of
Oh,
the
okay,
book.
okay,
Nothing to do
okay.
with the show. The author of the book. I think he had another book that uh, um Oprah thing. So I'm just saying I want to look him up as a new author that I want to read because the story is very
Right, right.
compelling and interesting. And it opens up like I was like it's so complicated. How can I bring it in? But I'll just probably start by the opening of the show. The narrator, which is actually the author, Victor, is telling the story of how the Norwegians came to New York City, escaping all the, some, bad things going on in their country, original country, and they were migrating to America. When they made that journey, obviously the water was rough, it was choppy, they wouldn't be able to make it. Like there's no
Mhm.
how the heck did they make it? There's no way, natural way that they would have been able to make that trip without dying the way the waters were during that time. And it pretty
Mhm.
much alludes that some mysterious figure helped them with that boat so that boat did not capsize and that community made it to New York. And obviously there's like now a community of people who are a part of that ancestry. And then their key story is around Lakeith's character, and his name is Apollo. And if you anybody listening, Apollo is a god.
Mhm.
He's a god of war, and he's like a hero in Greek or Roman mythology. I can't remember which one, if it's Roman or Greek. I think Apollo is
Mhm.
Roman. But yeah, so essentially he meets this girl and he meets a girl at the library, and the girl is like, he's trying to have a date with her, and she keeps on denying him because she's like, yeah, whatever, like, but he's very persistent, and eventually they go on a date. And eventually, but when they go on the date, they have a few days. She's like, I'm going to Brazil because she's doing her eat, love, pray thing.
Right?
And so she's like, I don't want to lead you on. I'm going to go there and like pretty much I don't think, I don't want to have you hold you down while I'm away. So like pretty much she released
Right.
him and like kind of ended the relationship. And when she comes back, she gets in contacts and he picks her up, and whatever, long story short, they get married and they have a child. And that's the whole thing of this story is the child is pretty much, it's like, what's going on with this kid? I don't want to give it away, but what's going on with this kid? And there's a lot of spiritual things going on because when she was in Brazil, she met a witch, and the witch put this red cord around her hand and said, don't cut it off. And when
Mm-mm.
she came back, this is all in the first episode, listeners, so I'm not even giving away the core. Like it's a wild ride. But
Mm-mm.
when she comes back and reconnects with Apollo, her name is Emma. So when Emma connects back with Apollo, Apollo's like, "No, you don't need this," and he literally goes and cuts it off her hand. And they pan to the scene of the woman, the witch, put it on her hand. He doesn't know. Okay, shit's going downhill from here on out.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
this is just before they get married and have a child, but essentially there's a lot of mystery around this child. There's a lot of things about ancestral roots. There's a lot of things about generational trauma, and there's also a lot of things about fairy tales and mythical creatures. So I'm not going to give away, but there's a lot. It's like one of those things where there's a lot of things and components going on, and it held me. It gripped me. I was anxious every week to watch it. I was let down. I didn't get
Mm.
that satisfaction of a complete story with the finale, but obviously that just means season 2 is going to be very, very interesting. So
Oh
yeah,
boy.
that's what we're watching. That's
Yes.
on Apple Plus
This
if
is what we are
anybody's interesting.
watching.
Yeah. So now we're gonna
Yes.
move into our first segment, and that is a and
Lord have mercy. Real Jesus.
and
Yes.
with our lot of mercy this week, we're talking about Mr. Dwight Howard, and
Uh-huh.
Dwight Howard is
Shit.
a
Yeah, uh-huh.
yeah, damn Dwight. Whoo!
Shit. Oh, sorry, I
Oh
sneezed.
no.
Shit. Oh, sorry. Go on.
So,
Yeah.
Dwight Howard is a former NBA player. I knew him. He used to be on. I think it's the Timberwolves. Is when I paid attention to basketball. I believe it was when he was on the Timberwolves, and I think before he retired, he was on the. I believe it was the Lakers before he retired. But one thing about him, I always remembered about him, even if I wasn't paying attention to basketball, he was his arms were, oh no, I know him from Orlando Magic. He was played on Orlando Magic the longest. He was on Orlando Magic for 8 years. So yeah, that's where I really know him. But damn, I'm looking at his roster here. He was on like 8 different teams. Damn boy, they traded him a lot. So I don't know how great he was, but he has massive arms. He has like crazy shoulders, and his arms are so long.
Yep.
And I always remembered his shoulders were just like the biggest shoulders I've ever seen in my life. So
Yep.
very,
Me too.
very dominating, and like all basketball players are tall, but his upper body strength looked crazy. Like
No, he's a
he
beast.
looked
He's
like
a
a
beast.
beast. Like shit.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to
Yeah.
be defending this guy. Like
No.
so
No.
anyway, he got into the news. I think last year there was some scandal because a young man or a man accused him of sexual assault, and he had a very detailed account of that encounter. Essentially, long story short, he pretty much said that Dwight was DMing him, and they set up an encounter, and he was invited to come over at his home while his son was in bed. I have to make that note. And when he got there, there was another person who is, I guess, a trans person or transvest. I don't know. He just knew a man. He said a man dressed as a woman named Kitty.
Yeah. Yeah. Trans. Mm-hmm. That's what
Um,
that is. Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
he was like he did not want to move forward with the encounter because he was not expecting a third person, and then um Dwight pretty much was coerced him or forced. I don't know. Again, I'm not reading the direct account, but essentially it's insinuated that he was forced to stay in and then be involved in that encounter, and something went down. So fine. I mean, personally, when I
Yeah.
first,
Okay.
and it was very detailed, but I'm like, I mean, this is not the first time a gay person or a trans person accused a famous basketball player or a prominent black celebrity for being involved in, like, something like same sex or trans, whatever it is. It's something that
Yes.
if
Nefarious stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
they traditionally identify as straight, so this would be very scandalous for it to come to the
It is
news.
scandalous.
Hmm.
Your name is connected to this. Like,
So
you know.
so that was the story. And I was like, whatever, like there's like these stories pop up unless it's like actual receipts, like to me the text, like that's not enough of a receipt for me, that like for me personally, right? So I was like, I need more proof. So now I didn't hear anything from the story. That was gone from my mind. I didn't care, whatever, moved on. And then recently the newspaper was talking about how Dwight said came out now. I guess the trial is coming soon or whatever. I don't know why, but he came out and said yes with his lawyers, and had admitted that he did have an encounter with that person, but it was consensual. And so now the internet is on fire because obviously, even though it's like, who cares what your sexuality is? But my guy, like, you identify as straight. So people are now going to have a lot of speculation and say a lot of things. He's trying to be nonchalant. He's been doing radio interviews where somebody straight out asked
Yeah,
him.
he's trying to act like, oh, yeah, I'm kinky or I have my fetishes or whatever. No, my friend,
Just
no.
yeah.
You could try your best to call it whatever you want, but at the end of the day, this is not movements of a heterosexual person.
Yes. That's
Period.
it. Simple.
So, you can call it whatever you want. Why I think this is a lot of mercy for me is because he has a long road ahead of him.
Yeah.
He has a long road ahead of him. And to be quite honest, this is not what he's trying to portray it to be. Okay? He is homosexual. He is involving and aligning himself in homosexual behaviors. So for me, which I have no problem, you do what you want to do in your bed. That's your bed, okay? However, don't try to treat me like I'm stupid. Please don't treat me like I'm stupid because I can read past this. I can read past it and I see that you're up against a wall.
Yep. He had to
Your
be.
lawyer has probably advised you to at least come forward and say that you were there because there's going to be text messages, there's going to be receipts
Mm-hmm.
that will prove that you were there. So instead of it coming out in public record of this trial that is coming about, um, get in front of it, right? And so that's what he's trying to do. Not really successfully, to be honest, because he's still trying to hold this, I'm a heterosexual. Maybe you believe that in your heart, maybe that's what you want to be, is homosexual, sorry, heterosexual, but you have a lot of homosexual tendencies because regardless if there was a transvestite there, you went to meet a man.
Mm-hmm.
So let's put the third person aside. In my eyes and in my view, there was two men in that room. One was dressed up like a woman and one wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel about that. So you were still involved in a homosexual activity of having sex with the same sex.
Mm.
And so you can spin it however you want. That's great. But I can see past the bullshit. You are doing this because the person is now charging you with a sexual assault. And so you're going to be going to trial, and there's going to be a lot of information that's going to be leaked because it's a public, this is public information. Any and everybody can go and look this up. Okay. And so he's trying to get in front of it by stating, "Oh, I'm a freak and I like my freaky ways and I'm a freak." Nah, fam. Nah. Because when the texts start rolling out and we see what kind of context this is in, it wasn't to a woman. And you want to act as though you're purely heterosexual. I'm sorry, you're not. And it's all going to come out. In terms of this case that's coming up, I really hope he has like a smoking gun. I really do. We were talking about it before, and I was saying I hope they tried to blackmail him. I hope they tried to do something where this case will get dismissed sooner than
Yeah,
later,
because we're
and he can do some damage control when it comes to the image that he's trying to keep, right? But it did open my eyes to one thing, that in the sports arena there's some real freaks out there. Okay, there's some real
you
freaky
have to be
deakies
now.
going
Now,
on.
when somebody says they're a freak, you have to be careful. What does freak mean to
What
you?
does that mean? Please break it down. To be honest, like I don't know why he's going to such great lengths to hide his sexuality. I really don't. We're in an age where it's accepted.
Yeah, but we know in the black community, especially, and plus for him to be an athlete, he is an athlete. I think.
Oh, girl, there's so much money to be made just on what you just said. He's a
Oh, like being
black
the
man
first, being the
in
first. first
And
open.
I'm sorry, you would have to talk to Dennis Rodman first, before you try to come for his position, because he is technically the first
Well, what when you
with
think,
homosexual tendencies. Yeah.
but now we see Dennis Rodman and what he was doing, and it was like, damn, he was just like being like that rock star, trying to be that rock star personality. I think he was naturally that, but he branded himself that way, and it was like he was playing
But
with
he
us.
opened the door.
He opened the door, and he was. But you know what? At least he was fearless. Like, so maybe I get your point. Is like, okay, Dwight, like Dennis. Look, Dennis was able to do it. So, but the thing is, Dennis was
Yeah.
unequivocally straight. Like, like as much as
Well, that's
he
what
never
we think of.
that.
That's what we think.
That's what we
That's what we
think.
think. We didn't have back then when Dennis Rodman was pulling these things and all of this. You had to see him on a tabloid. You had to see him on the news.
Mhm.
You understand? You didn't have just a click of a button to see all of his shenanigans. And I'm sorry, but at one point he hooked up with Madonna.
Yeah.
Okay, and we know Madonna. She just likes to have a whole bunch of sex orgies. Okay, so and she's said that freely and openly herself.
Mhm.
And so I just think that with you know Mr. Howard, I hope you have good lawyers. I really do, because if they prove this could be some time for you. Celebrity or not. And what I've been seeing, the trend that I've been seeing in terms of the judicial system dealing with celebrities, is that they're cracking down on this.
Mhm.
And celebrities are literally going to jail. Okay, Fetty Wap, 6 years. Yeah. So celebrities, I mean, Fetty Wap is maybe a poor example because he's not the top of celebrities. However, they're cracking down on it. They're cracking down on celebrities thinking that they're untouchable. What's his face that just went to jail for shooting Meg? What's her name? What's his name
Tony.
now? Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez, he just got he got 8 years?
Mhm.
Or was it 10
10
years?
years.
10 years, right? So they're cracking down on it. So I hope he has good lawyers. I don't know what kind of freaky shit you're into. But you need to be a little more, you need to be better with hiding your shit. If that's what you're gonna do, if you're gonna go the hiding way, you need to be top secret James Bond up in this bitch. If you're not, and you're gonna come out that, you know what, I'm uh bisexual or whatever the case might be, then you just need to just be straight up about it. I think he's trying to tread the line. I think he's trying to, say that he's heterosexual for his job and that image of his job and being a basketball player. But in reality, I don't think that he is heterosexual. I think he dips between the two sexes.
Mhm.
And this is evident of that. Lastly, um, I hope to God you didn't harass, like sexually, you know, assault this person,
Mhm.
because there was a third person in the room. So you got to be careful with that. When there's somebody else that's in view of this, it could be a done deal for you. So I don't know. I
Mhm.
don't know. You might want to reevaluate these freaky tendencies you got here. Okay, because lot of mercy for real. What y'all do with the people that have in the hotels?
and
Big
and
money.
his own home with his son sleeping upstairs. Jesus.
Well, you should have went to the hotels. But anywho, freak, yeah. So okay, well, I guess what do you think about this?
No, I'm done. We'll see what the case says. I think it's clear, like freaky stroking meat. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, you like what you like, but so
Yeah, but then don't pretend to do something that you're not. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because I think that's the thing that rubs people the wrong way, is the authenticity
Hmm.
of what you're trying to portray. If you're trying to call yourself a heterosexual man, then this doesn't
This is not
this
heterosexual
this is
behavior.
not that.
No.
This is not that. Okay, but we'll move on, because Mr. Howard, what you doing, fam? But anywho, Lord of mercy for real, yeah. Because me, nah, sir. You better, you better make sure a lot of things are aligned. They wouldn't have pulled this if there wasn't some validity behind
Yeah,
it.
he wouldn't have come out.
So,
He wouldn't have come out and admitted this unless his back was against the wall. So obviously things are
100%.
serious. Yeah.
And so, with that being said, we're gonna move on from Mr. Freaky and his freaky ways into the workout.
The workout.
Yes, we haven't had a workout in a little minute here. But the workout, this is where, we take time and exercise our hearts and mental fitness, okay? And so we like to do deep dive discussions on things that are affecting us in our community or in general. And so we're going to talk about DJ Envy. DJ Envy is under fire with the FBI. The question of the episode is he a victim or not?
Mm.
Because I'm gonna tell you what I think. And nah, you ain't no damn victim up in this bit. Please, you're trying to play the victim. You are. But so what has happened, and I'll set this up, and I know it's a ongoing issue for the last month or so. So DJ Envy and one of his friends, what's his name?
Caesar,
Pino, Caesar
Pina.
Pina.
Hmm.
Sorry. And so, right. So Caesar is supposed to be, I guess, a real estate mogul or whatever the hell he's supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
He's a scam artist as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, we're not going to go too much into Caesar because there's a lot going on in the scenes. And if you're aware of anything that's happening with this story, DJ Envy, the Breakfast Club they had the FBI open there locking down things, searching through things. Caesar Peanut has multiple, not one, not two, but multiple cases against him. Um, there's a lot of, white collar crime that's going on here. And so far, what we've seen and what we've heard is that, there's some sort of Ponzi scheme that's supposed to be happening that Caesar was headed. And DJ Envy supposedly, helped to recruit some of the victims, the actual victims that lost a lot of their money.
Hmm.
And so, Caesar made all these promises and how he could flip their money left, right, and center. Some people put up their life savings from, even supposedly DJ Envy put up, I
Yep.
think, what did he
I
say?
saw 500,000. I saw.
500,000,
Hmm.
yeah. So he said he lost 500,000 and so on. So there's a lot of people who have lost their money and or have yet to see a payback from this money. It sounded too good to be true, and it is. And
Here's
unfortunately,
the too good to be true. Since you're talking about that, they said the range of returns would be 20 to 45% investment return within 5 months. Within 5 months, you
lies,
wouldn't even make that within
impossible.
1 year. Anyway,
Thank
continue.
you. You just couldn't.
No.
You just couldn't, especially with the industry being what it is right now and the world being what it is right now. It's impossible. But anyhow, so DJ Envy is right in the center of this. Okay, so he too is being indicted because they believe that he has something to do with this Ponzi scheme, that he is involved in this Ponzi scheme. And we don't really know if he is or he isn't. However, a lot of people have a lot of things to say about this. And some people are calling him a victim. Some people are saying that he's not and that he, is a part of this Ponzi scheme. Now, the way that I see it from my perspective, all the information that I've been hearing, and there will be more to come.
Yeah.
So, we kind of have to, let this play itself out. But from what we have heard, DJ Envy brought Caesar on the Breakfast Club.
Mm-hmm.
He brought him on there to tell him exactly the business idea. So as soon as that show aired, okay, a lot business went up. Business went up substantially. Now, I want to say that this has been going on since 2017. Right. So we're in 2023, almost 2024.
Mhm.
Right. So it's been going on for quite some time and they've made a lot of money. Okay. Where I think the last time I heard it was to the tune of almost 50 mil. So there's a lot of people's money that have been stolen and tied up
Did
into
they
this.
did they
And
make that, or did they just say they made that?
well, Caesar is being accused of making it.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's what he's being accused of, taking close to 50 mil
Mm,
from all these people
mhm,
for this Ponzi scheme that he's created.
mhm.
And supposedly, a good chunk of that money came after DJ Envy brought him on the Breakfast Club.
I believe that.
So I'm sorry to say this, but DJ Envy, you put your name on the line, bro. And I don't see you putting your name on the line for nothing. I don't see it coming from the goodness of your heart. Miss me with the bullshit. You wanted to ball like, you were a big superstar. You got mixed up in this shit. Now you're too deep. Okay. And now you want to try to distance yourself from what's happening. But unfortunately, you can't bring him to your job, which is the Breakfast Club, and people to forget and take this lightly. So for me, I in my past, and I've explained this to Jeanette, that in my past I was working for mortgage enforcement, which is a part of a sector of law here, and we had a variety of mortgage brokerage companies come and approach us, and there was one particular one that we worked with the most. And I got a referral fee if I was able to refer somebody who was deep into debt to this mortgage company where they would refinance or get a second mortgage on their house, pay out what they owe us, and I would get a side cut of just referring them to this particular institution. And so there's no way in hell that DJ Envy is going to put his name, his job, his family on the line for nothing. So I do not believe that he didn't reap any benefit of this. I sure think he did. Okay, he was getting real saucy the other day, but he's gonna box people down and thing. He's passing his britches. He's getting too much dough in his bank account, feeling too nice, but he want to box down people. Now who's gonna get boxed? So I don't think he's a victim. He can say whatever the hell he wants to say until I see it in black and white where you didn't have any exchange of any money. I don't believe it. Now, Caesar, you're kind of brilliant. You're kind of brilliant. I'm going to look at it not so much from being a scammer, but looking at it from a perspective of you almost got away with it. You almost got away with it. You were able to manipulate a lot of people, including DJ Envy. You were able to lock DJ Envy into this because if you go down, he's going down with you. And so you got someone who was able to spread the word for you, use their reputation, their clout, their whatever they have to propel you forward, and now you have been, and they're so deep that they're looking at DJ Envy on the same level as Caesar, that they're partners. So, for me, that's what I gotta say about that so far. He's not no damn victim. Okay. To me, you should have done your due diligence. You should have looked further into it. You didn't. You put your name on the line. You got a little change off of it. And now, time has come where you're gonna have to pay up one way or the other. Whether it's in money or in blood, they're coming for it. So I don't know. DJ Envy, I'm gonna see how that plays out. But what do you think about this here with DJ Envy and his nonsense? Is he a victim or not?
I feel bad for. I'm not gonna call him a victim, but I do think he is one thing I think it's easy to say, he's not like the brightest bulb in the pack. Like,
No.
and
Mm-mm.
so I honestly don't think he would have invited Cesar on the show if he felt that it was like a scam. I honestly believe what at the time, and that was a while ago, at the time that he brought um Caesar on the show, that he thought this was a legit real way for people to invest their money and make money. I do think, because I think one of the things, the reason why he is in trouble is because he brought him on the show, and he also did a lot of promotion on his own Instagram page, promoting the situation. I don't want to outright call it a scheme. I'm going to call it a scheme, because the people who are accusing, who brought the lawsuit, like the white collar crime, this isn't even everybody. The people who brought the lawsuit are the rich people, the
That's
people who
right.
lost like 500,000. Those, like, there's
Yep.
some Italian guys here that I saw here, that Anthony Baroni and another guy, two Anthonys, Baroni and Martini. They filed a lawsuit for 1.5 million, because they lost 1.5 after investing in a 50 unit building, right? And so my
Mm-hmm.
understanding of the actual scam is that Caesar would go to investors and say, okay, and it's a popular real estate scam where they go to a bunch of people and say, okay, you invest with us, we'll get the property and fix it up. Like, the property is cheap because it's run down or there's something wrong. So it's like,
Right.
you give us some money, we'll invest and buy the property in your name, fix it up and rent it, and you'll be getting the returns from the rent, right? So that's how they pitched it. That's the pitch, from my understanding of what their business model was. So yeah, if you're
Right.
somebody who has extra money to put together, like, say, these people, like the big people who had the lawsuit, then yeah, you could dump money and be like, okay, we just want you guys to help us manage it, and so we can get a return on our investment. And then, but
Mm-hmm.
then there's the little guys, like, say, you and me, and like
Yeah.
five other people who want to do this. So we're gonna give in our little piece of 50,000,
Yeah.
and maybe have 5 or 10 people to make up like the down payment, whatever, to make a good chunk of the down payment, whatever that is. Say it's like the down payment of 200K.
Right.
So again, people, this is the thing with Ponzi scheme. What do you call it? Pyramid scheme and Ponzi scheme. If it sounds too good to be true,
It is.
use your goddamn common sense. Okay, follow the money, and if it don't make sense, it's nonsense. So anyway,
Right?
right? So I kind of looked into that to kind of see what the actual scam was, and also Caesar came out publicly on his Instagram live saying that, yes, he's, and detailing a little bit, yes, what he was charged with, and that he obviously he has to denounce DJ Envy's involvement in the thing. So he was like, DJ Envy was his partner and was an investor, but he's denying that obviously that Envy was, and yes, was involved in any fraudulent transactions. And to be honest, I do believe that, because I don't see, and I can be proven wrong when things go to court, because they obviously have a lot of evidence. Personally, I believe that DJ Envy is a victim of ignorance, and I think his fame was taken advantage of, and he grew Caesar's business to what it was, to the fact that he has, like, say, can even account for having 50 million, right? So I do think that uh I don't feel bad for DJ Envy, because he should have sense, but I also don't think his involvement is what people or the media is trying to insinuate that it is. Is that he knew that it was a scam, and that he willingly scammed people to participate. I think his name was used to attract people, and that is can be, that is not, that is, he should protect his name. Like, you should make sure whatever you're connecting your name to, especially as somebody is such a big public figure.
Like DJ Envy had to work his ass off to
Yeah.
get to the point that he is right now, where not only is he sitting tight on one of the most popular radio stations ever,
Yep.
okay, but he made a name for himself outside of just being a disc jockey.
Hmm.
So you know what? I'm sorry. You don't have to be the brightest pencil in the box, but you do have to be the sharpest. Okay? And you have to use your street sense and say, wait, hold on. Nah, man, I need to see a portfolio. Or have my lawyer contact your
Yeah,
lawyer.
straight. Get the lawyer to look
Okay?
at it. I'm not
Like,
sure.
I'm sorry. This is something that, like, he didn't have to do a lot. He
Mhm.
didn't have to do a lot
Mm.
to figure out that it was a Ponzi scheme.
Mm.
He doesn't he bought his own house. Okay? He has a house with his wife. So he knows that just by going through that experience, it's not as easy and as simple as you might think, right? So flipping a house in 6 months, nah, not going to happen. It just doesn't happen. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. You just need to use that street sense that you have that made you who you are. So miss me with it. He had something to do with it. He probably got a pay on the side. We're gonna see it come out. But what I do have to say is, DJ Envy, listen, if you did have anything to do with this, bro, if you had anything to do with this, where you are in the wrong, you better pipe up and pipe up quick. You better cut some deals with some people quick.
I don't think he.
Because
I don't think he did. I don't think he did anything like on purpose,
I
knowingly.
think he did. I think he did. I think he had something. Here's what I think, to the extent. Now, I think that Caesar is very smart and he's very seasoned
Like, yeah,
in the
yeah,
scams.
he
He's
used. I
very
mean,
seasoned.
he used DJ Envy.
He used him to a level. I think he used him knowing that he could use him. One and two, I think he used him because DJ Envy was he was too ready for money. Like he was too fiending, too what they call it now. These young people, what them say, thirsty. He was too thirsty. You understand? And he saw the thirst from a mile away. So I think that he had something to do with it, because why would you put your name on the line? For what?
I think he put his name on the line because he thought he was actually doing something good and teaching, let's say, lower income people how to build generational wealth, as he would have said himself. But again, I think his mistake is not really, like he said, doing that extra homework to know what you're really connecting your name to. And like to your point, I agree there was some payoff because why would you give this man free promotion and put your name
For
on the
what?
right? So I do
You
agree.
brought him to your bread and butter, okay?
Yeah, you
Your
brought
bread
him
and
on the
butter is
show.
the
So
yeah, come on
whether
now.
directly or indirectly, he got some
Something.
reward for that, right? So and I also
Something.
don't think that doesn't to me make him guilty. What makes would make him guilty is if he was well aware of the operation and he still promoted it. That's where I would find he's guilty. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm actually happy the Breakfast Club has not been trigger happy and not fired him. A lot of weirdo people online are like asking that, and almost like we know how on social is, they pray for your downfall, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
definitely we're seeing a lot of behavior, so I do appreciate iHeartRadio protecting him for now. And
For now.
for now, we'll see where that goes, but
Um
I'm hoping for
and
the
and
best for
I
him.
don't think he directly I think it's far fetched to say he was a partner with Caesar. I
Mhm.
don't think he was a partner.
Yeah,
However, I think that he had enough, he knew enough, but he didn't know enough to be putting his name on the line like this.
yeah.
Like, he knew enough to say, hey, that's something I want to be a part of, but he didn't know enough to say, is it something I really want to be a part of?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the gesture is great. Yeah, your head might have been in the right place. However, you should have done more research. You shouldn't have put your name that you worked 20 plus years to get on the line for some Caesar Pina, who, I'm sorry, if I were to look at him, I would never think ever that he has the goods on how to make money through real estate. I'm sorry. My man is too busy ordering Uber. Like, for real. Okay? Because that's where they're saying he spent the money on, is the Ubers and the DoorDash, okay, and the food. So, and if you look at him,
Yeah.
it might be so.
Mhm.
It might be so. But to all seriousness here, like, I do hope that DJ Envy, at the very least, for whatever his involvement is, he doesn't do jail time,
Mm.
that maybe he might have to, help pay back some of these people, or he might have to rat and sing like a canary. But whatever you need to do, you have a family, you have a wife, you have a reputation that you need to uphold. And so hopefully it's not as bad as we think. But there's something telling me that for somebody to work so hard in their life, get to this point of status, and put it all on the line for someone like Caesar Pina, really? Nah, fam, you getting something out of it. And so, with that said, we do hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. So, whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. We'll holla back real soon. Bye.
Bye.